What's up, good people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. This weather is crazy. It's 83 degrees today. A couple of days ago, it was like in the freezing. It was freezing a couple of days ago. And now, of course, the fish are like, okay, is it finally spring yet? Guys, I'm hoping that it's finally spring for y'all, okay? I'm hoping that it is. One that's real small. I don't remember getting any that small. It's too early for them to have been spawned and have babies. Anyway, I got a question for you. Tonight's going to be interesting. We got Dave and Dale coming on to a special edition live stream that we'll be doing in a couple of hours. And my buddy Dale has statistics out the yin yang. I love statistics. One of the things that he's going to actually tell us Cowboy fans that the Dallas Cowboys have more starts from homegrown talent than any other team in our division. That the Dallas Cowboys, you can say the one thing that the Cowboys have done great, and that is they have done great as far as drafting players. And you can look at it because you remember when the Giants in 2016, they had that $250 million defensive line? They played good for one season, but then the reason that they're still kind of in cap hell is because of all of the players that they signed. And this kind of will give validation to Stephen Jones. Not that I want to give validation to Stephen Jones, but we have to at least give credit where credit's due, at least in that circumstance, that the Cowboys, and I'm not sure it's really Stephen Jones as much as it's Will McClay, but the Cowboys have done great things as far as the draft. But I started thinking about this because the Cowboys are so good at drafting. This is me kind of putting the pieces together. I haven't heard any rumors or anything like this, but in some instance you might say that this kind of makes sense. Okay. Dalton Schultz. Now keep in mind the Cowboys have let go so many of their wide receivers that you look at it and say, we got to keep somebody there. But Dalton Schultz, franchise tag. Usually you do the franchise tag and then negotiate a long-term deal. It just buys you time. That's what the franchise tag does. It keeps you from being able to get out of the free agent market, which is interesting because the Cowboys had other players that they wanted to keep, but they didn't let them go out. But they let them go on the franchise. You know what I'm saying? J-Ron Kurtz, Randy Gregory. They let Amari Cooper. They let those guys go out into the marketplace, find out what the price tag would be, and then say, come on back and we'll see what we can do. They didn't do that with Dalton Schultz. They just franchise tagged him, which is kind of interesting because they kind of said, we can't afford to lose that guy. Unless, now here's where it's going to be interesting. Here's my thought. Here's what's crazy. This draft is full of wide receivers, offensive linemen, defensive linemen, and tight ends. Typically, some of your best tight ends aren't first-round draft picks, except for Kyle Pitts. That's the few and far between. But you can get really good tight ends in this draft in the second and third, maybe even the fourth round. Okay, so listen to me here for a second. Could the reason that the Dallas Cowboys put the franchise tag on is because they're not really sure if he's the guy that they want? Because just because you put the franchise tag on doesn't mean you have to keep it on. Think about Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams, they put the tag on him. He said, I'm not playing on the franchise tag. And, of course, he had already bought a house in Vegas. So he was already eyeing leaving. And so they kind of said, you know what, we'll trade you. And, we'll hold on to the franchise tag long enough that we get some compensation for you. But bye. Now, here's the thing with Dalton Schultz. They have a couple options here. They can play him on the franchise tag, in which case he will be a $10.9 million cap hit this year. They can get him a deal done, in which case they can get some cap relief out of it. Or they can hold on to him through the draft, and if somebody happens to fall their way, how you doing? If somebody happens to fall their way and they end up getting somebody that they really like and say, we have a rookie tight end that we believe is actually better than Dalton Schultz. I don't know why I keep doing that. I don't know. It's crazy. Is there a guy out there we believe in more as a rookie than Dalton Schultz? And if you do, you could end up releasing him, letting him go from the franchise tag, and it doesn't cost you a dime. Doesn't cost you a dime. You see where I've gone with that? It's not the best thing to do if you're the team for the player. But it's one of those things where the Cowboys have covered their back. That worst case scenario is there is nobody better. There's nobody better out there for us. We've got him at 10.9, and next year we can let him go without having any pain. If we find somebody that we feel is better in the draft, we can let him go and recoup all $10.9 million. This move would actually be one of those ones that it's like a Jedi mind trick where, the Cowboys are covering all the bases. If we find a better tight end, we can sign him for cheaper. If we don't, we have a guy locked down. If we want to get rid of him in a year, unlike Dalton Schultz, where they signed him to a deal, his hip degenerates, they cut him, and they take a cap hit. I don't know if the Cowboys are actually that smart or if it just worked out that way. Don't know. But here's the cool thing. Angelica Baron. This morning she was showing a picture of one of her flower pots where plants are coming up. If you take a look around here, you can see all the ferns are popping up. The hostas are coming up. And even, look at this. The irises are all coming up. And the water lilies. Another week or two, or about another week, it'll be nice and green out here. And it's warm now, so we'll be out here when we're here. I'm Mark Holmes, and just trying to give you some food for thought. I'll see you later.